If you're even thinking about getting into data science, there is one name you are going to hear over and over and over again: Kaggle. So today, we're going to break down exactly what this platform is and why it's become such a huge deal for data scientists all over the world. So let's get right to it. What is Kaggle? Well, think of it as the biggest data science community on the planet. It's an online platform that's really built on three main ideas. You can learn new skills, you can practice on real data, and you can compete against the very best in the field. It's basically a whole ecosystem for anyone who's into data.
All right, here's our game plan. We'll start with what Kaggle is, then take a little tour of its data science playground. We're going to dive deep into something called the Kaggle Notebook, then walk you through your first steps on the platform. And finally, we'll tackle the big question: is it actually worth it for your career?
Okay, let's kick things off with a simple idea that honestly just clicks. The best way to think about Kaggle isn't just as a website, but as a gym for data scientists. And it really works like a gym, right? It's where you go to train, to build your data muscles by working on thousands of different data sets. It's where you test your strength by jumping into competitions. And it's where you get to learn from the pros, the top-tier data scientists who actually share their winning playbooks for everyone to see. So now that you've got that gym metaphor in your head, let's actually walk through the doors and take a tour of this data science playground. We'll check out the main attractions that make this place so powerful. Okay, so when you first log in, this is what you see: the Kaggle dashboard. This is kind of like your mission control. Everything you could possibly need is right here, but it all really boils down to four main areas, which we're about to jump into. Yeah, it all comes down to these four key features. First, you've got competitions, where you can solve actual problems for huge companies. Next, datasets. We're talking thousands of free datasets you can practice on. Then there's code, specifically these awesome online coding environments called notebooks. And finally, courses, totally free courses to learn everything from basic Python all the way up to advanced machine learning. And when we say competitions are prizes, we're not talking about a t-shirt. It's not just for bragging rights. For example, a recent AI competition had a prize pool of $50,000. That kind of money tells you just how serious the talent on this platform is. But to compete at that level, you need some serious computing power, which actually leads us perfectly to our next topic. Let's zoom in on one of the most useful features on the entire platform: the Kaggle Notebook. This thing is your own personal, all-in-one coding environment that lives completely in the cloud. This slide just says it all, doesn't it? If you've ever tried to set up a data science environment on your own laptop, oh man, you know the headache. Installing libraries, managing resources, it's a pain. Kaggle Notebooks just get rid of all of that. There's zero setup. All the common libraries are already installed for you. You can access massive data sets in an instant. And this is the real game changer: you get free access to incredibly powerful hardware, like GPUs. And that last point is huge. I mean, don't just take my word for it. As one Reddit user put it so perfectly, Kaggle is incredibly interesting for the GPU poor. High-end graphics cards can cost thousands of dollars, but Kaggle just gives you access for free. And we're not talking about some old, weak hardware either. You get access to two powerful Tesla T4 GPUs, each with 15 gigs of RAM. And you can use them for up to 30 hours every single week. The only thing you have to do to unlock all this power is a quick phone number verification. That's it. Okay, so you're sold, you want to jump in, right? Let's walk through how you can get started in like the next 5 minutes. Seriously, it's way easier than you think. Here's a super simple 5-step plan. First, create your free account. Second, just browse the datasets and find one that looks cool to you. Could be anything: movie reviews, sports stats, you name it. Third, find a public notebook that's already analyzing that data and just click copy and edit. That makes your own personal copy you can mess around with. Fourth, just run the code that's already there to see how it works. And fifth, and this is so important, click Save Version to save your work. I cannot stress that last step enough. As one user who definitely learned this the hard way warned, if you don't save it properly, your work will be lost the next day. Kaggle doesn't really auto-save your final results, so you have to be the one to click that button. Please remember that. So, after all that, we get to the million-dollar question, the big debate. Is spending all this time on Kaggle really worth it for your data science career? Well, the argument for Kaggle is pretty powerful. One really experienced user put it this way: I've never met a good Kaggler who wasn't an excellent data scientist. The point is, the skills and the discipline it takes to do well in those competitions often translate directly to being great at the real job. But there's another side to this coin. Another user dropped this dose of reality. In practice, getting a model with 70% accuracy deployed can often be a major win. In the real world, it's not always about squeezing out that last fraction of a percent of accuracy. It's about building something that actually works and solves a problem. And this table really breaks down that difference. On Kaggle, the focus is often on maximizing accuracy on a nice, clean data set. But in a real-world job, you're dealing with messy data, you're trying to solve a business problem, and you're managing the entire project from start to finish. Things like cost and how fast you can deploy a model matter just as much as its accuracy. So what's the final verdict? Honestly, it's pretty clear. Kaggle is an absolutely invaluable training ground. It might be the best place on Earth to get really, really good at building models. But it's not the whole game. Think of it as the gym, not the championship match. The best Kagglers are the ones who take that intense training and learn how to apply it to solve real, messy business problems. Which brings us to our final thought. We've pretty much established that Kaggle is a world-class gym for data science. The question for you is, how are you going to take the strength you build there and apply it in the real world? Thanks so much for watching.